Why Jeff Bezos was obsessed with Amazon's inevitable debt. Jeff Bezos founded Amazon on July 5, 1994. 27 years later, he stepped down as CEO to make way for senior Amazon executive Andy Jassy. Amazon has grown into a tech behemoth under Bezos' leadership, but the billionaire has expressed his belief that the company is doomed to fail. Between 2013 and 2018, Bezos mentioned the company's demise 3 times, and in his final letters to shareholders in April 2021, he quoted scientist Richard Dawkins about staving off death. This is extremely unusual for a CEO. With demanding investors on their tails, executives are normally unwaveringly optimistic about their company's prospects. Let's take a look at each time he claimed that Amazon is doomed to fail. 2013. Bezos appeared on CBS's 60 Minutes in 2013 to demonstrate Amazon's automated drone delivery division, which, according to the Financial Times, will lay off dozens of R&D and manufacturing employees in November 2020. He said in the interview, companies have short lifespans, and Amazon will be disrupted one day. Asked whether that fact worried him, Bezos replied, "I don't worry about it because I know it's inevitable. Companies come and go, and the companies that are the shiniest and most important of any era, you wait a few decades and they're gone." Bezos added that he would love for Amazon to outlive him. 2017. In a 2017 letter to shareholders, Bezos discussed his day one philosophy. He always insisted it was day one for Amazon. He responded to a question from an all-hands meeting about what day 2 looks like in the letter. He then added, "An established company might harvest day 2 for decades, but the final result would still come." He then talked about how a company can fend off day 2. 2018. In a recording of a 2018 all-hands meeting obtained by CNBC, Bezos was still just as convinced of Amazon's inescapable mortality. In reply to a staffer who asked about big businesses like Sears going bankrupt, Bezos said, "Amazon is not too big to fail. In fact, I predict one day Amazon will fail." He then added, "Amazon will go bankrupt. If you look at large companies, their lifespans tend to be 30 plus years, not 100 plus years." Bezos said it was his job to delay that date by as long as possible. 2021. In his letter to shareholders as Amazon CEO in April 2021, Jeff Bezos concluded by quoting a passage from evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins' book, The Blind Watchmaker. He roamed around the idea of staving off death as a thing that you have to work at. Bezos referred to this passage as a fantastic metaphor for Amazon, stating that it illustrates how companies must constantly strive to be unique rather than settling for a comfortable status quo. Bezos then wrote, "The world will always try to make Amazon more typical, to bring us into equilibrium with our environment. It will take continuous effort, but we can and must be better than that." But what drives Bezos to say all of these things? What makes him believe that Amazon is being subjected to failure? Well, what's recently happening to Amazon is exactly what Bezos has envisioned. In April, the company reported a $3.8 billion loss, primarily due to a $7.6 billion loss on the value of its Rivian stake. Amazon purchased a near 20% stake in Rivian in 2019, with plans for an electric delivery fleet. However, the share price of the electric vehicle manufacturer has more than halved since the beginning of the year as the company struggles to ramp up production. Overall, Amazon predicts sales growth of as little as 3% in the coming months, a significant slowdown from the double-digit growth seen in recent years, even before the pandemic. Amazon chief executive Andy Jassy said, "The pandemic and subsequent war in Ukraine have brought unusual growth and challenges." He added that the company was also facing increased costs, with ongoing inflationary and supply chain pressures. The company's overall sales increased 7% year-on-year to $116.4 billion, fueled by Amazon Web Services, the company's cloud computing division, and consistent profit driver. Amazon Web Services revenue increased 37% year-on-year, while advertising revenue increased 23%. However, growth elsewhere slowed significantly, particularly in its international business, where sales fell 6%. Expenses are also rapidly rising, with inflation costing $2 billion during the quarter. In the face of labor shortages, the company has raised wages to attract employees, and it is also facing a growing push to establish unions in the United States. Meanwhile, rising fuel prices have increased delivery costs. Amazon has already announced that it will raise the price of its Prime service, which provides subscribers with benefits such as faster shipping for US customers, citing rising wage and shipping costs. This stumble also reflects on Bezos' net worth. Just recently, Bezos fell down to 3rd place in the world's richest people, a territory he's very familiar with. This is after Amazon's stock tanked following a downbeat earnings report. Now, Bezos is in third place among the world's richest, behind number 2, Bernard Arnault, the French luxury tycoon whose current net worth is estimated at $157.3 billion. The world's richest man, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, has a net worth of $270 billion. The Amazon founder's fortune has plummeted since it peaked at $210 billion last year, making him the world's richest person at the time. Despite his 2019 divorce from Mackenzie Scott, his college sweetheart, who received 25% of his Amazon stock as part of the settlement. According to Bloomberg News, Bezos' net worth has dropped by $57 million since its peak. Indeed, prior to the carnage, Bezos' fortune had already fallen by more than 23% year to date, as Amazon's stock has suffered from the post-pandemic slowdown in online spending, as well as increased labor costs and soaring inflation rates.